Hi everyone, I'm Abhinav Gupta, the CEO of DepX, and today we'll take a look at how we can migrate a Gitea deployment from AWS to CloudStack. Let's start by adding our cloud service provider from the Connect Provider button. If you click on the Select CSP button, you can see all the CSPs that are available on our platform. From here, you can select on AWS and provide your permanent security credentials to connect your AWS account. Then you can select on CloudStack. You'll have to go through these prerequisites and the process to obtain your API and secret key. And once you come to the next window, you can provide those details here and test your connection before clicking on submit to connect your CloudStack. For simplicity, we have already added our CloudStack and AWS account as seen on the left side. Let's quickly take a look at our AWS console. And if we go into this machine, you can see that this is a Gitea machine. If we connect through the AWS inbuilt terminal, in a minute, we'll see what are the files that exist within our deployment. And then let's take a look at the Gitea deployment as well using Docker. So as you can see, we have our Gitea container and our Postgres container right here. Let's also take a look at our nginx config. Sudo, yeah, okay. And finally, before we jump into our Gitea deployment through the browser, let's take a look at the nginx service as well. Okay, so it's running. Now let's take a look at our Gitea deployment by going to the IP address of the machine. We are in the Abhinav user's account right now. On the right side, you can see all the repositories that the Abhinav user has created. This is a test repository that, as you can see. Let's quickly jump into another user, Umair, and let's see what repositories currently Umair has in his account. On the right side, you can see all the repositories that the Umair user has. Let's go into one of them, it's empty. Let's check another one. Okay, this one has files. And on the left side, you can see all the contributions in this repository by the Umair user. Let's take a look at our Apache CloudStack now. You can see that we do not have any instances right now. And if you go into our images section, the ISOs, Kubernetes ISOs or templates, we don't have any of the custom ISOs or templates. All right, let's come back to the DepX dashboard and create a migration. Let's give it a name. Let's also select a policy. So this is a migration-wide policy that we will be enforcing. Let's select our source. So our source will be AWS and our target will be CloudStack. We'll disable the dry run functionality as this is an actual migration, and we'll only allow the migration for a compute resource. One thing about migration policy is that you can customize this according to your needs, and then you can enforce it for the entire migration. All right, let's start the migration. As you can see that a new migration has been added to the migration list, which is pending. And on the left side, you will be able to see all the source cloud resources. And on the right side, you will be able to see the target resources once they are migrated. You can check the logs. We don't have any because the migration has just started. And we can also check the report, which will be empty because again, the migration has just started. What we'll do is we'll wait a minute and refresh to see if we have mapped the source resource and the migration has started. Yes, it has. You can see that the machine's name is Gitea and it is in progress. In a minute, we'll refresh again just to check if the migration has been completed. Okay, perfect. The migration is completed. On the left side, you can see all the configuration information of the source machine by clicking on it. And similarly, if we open the target dropdown, you'll be able to see the configuration of the target as well. This is the public IP address of the target machine. Let's copy it. Let's go back into our CloudStack and let's just confirm that this is the IP address of our machine. Yes, it is. We'll now check whether this machine is accessible by clicking on the View Console button. It is. So let's do one thing. Let's use the AWS PEM file that we had created while creating the machine on AWS to SSH into this new machine on the target. We'll replace the IP address with the public IP address of the new machine. Okay, I think we're in the wrong directory. Let's try again. Okay, perfect. So now that we are inside the machine, you can see that we have the same files as we had on our source. Let me just refresh. Yeah, you can see that all the files are the same in the home directory. Now let's take a look at our Gitea deployment. We need to confirm that our Gitea was successfully migrated to the target as well, along with all the data and the user information as well. Okay, now that we have confirmed that all the files in our source home directory is also available in our target home directory, let's check the status of our engineering service. It is running. We didn't even have to switch it on. It turned on its own once the migration was done. Let's also confirm that our Docker containers are also running. Okay, perfect. And you can see that the Docker container IDs are also exactly the same. Nothing has changed. So both are Gitea and our Postgres. Let's also check the storage available on both the machines. You can see that 4.3 gigabytes of storage has been used on both the machines. Now let's compare both of our Gitea deployments side by side. Let's start by going to our source. You can see the source is already open. Let's open up a new tab and paste the IP. Okay, you can see the target Gitea deployment here as well. Let's log into our Umaid user using the same username and password. Perfect. All right, let's open up both of these tabs side by side so that we can compare. On the left side and on the right side, you can see the contributions and the repositories. Both of them are exactly the same on both the machines. Even the IDs are exactly the same for the contributions. Let's open the test repository on both the source and the target to confirm that all the files are there. Yes, they are. You can also check the README. And let's go into our second user. So let's log out and let's log in using Abhinav user's username and password. So again, you can see that the contributions and the repositories on both the sides are exactly the same. We can even go into the AODF repository on both the machines to confirm that all the files are there. And we can also check the DepX Cognito Setup GUI repository. This is a public repository. If you go into the source, you can see that all the source files are there as well. So this is how we have achieved a complete migration of a Gitea deployment from AWS to CloudStack. Thank you so much.